Over 3 billion people regularly play games online. The world's biggest entertainment sector is diverse, inclusive, and open to new ideas and perspectives. But that openness can also become a problem.
It takes me under 20 minutes to come across a swastika on these platforms.
Ein Hakenkreuz zu finden.
For me, the internet still feels completely lawless.
The real problem is not the games themselves, but rather the related online forums where far-right ideology can often spread unchecked.
There's a modification called Jew Slayer.
In Germany, the police have launched a series of investigations, as has the Domestic Intelligence Agency.
This is not about a bit of fun. It's hardcore right-wing extremism.
From extremists who are looking to recruit young people Around 1 in 5 gamers worldwide are under the age of 18. Among them is 12-year-old Oscar from Berlin.
I play for 1 hour a day. That's my limit. Or 1.25 if I need to complete something.
His favorite game right now is Minecraft, where players build their own little worlds online. 20% of the game's 200 million players are aged 14 or younger.
Gaming isn't my life, but sure, it's definitely one of my main hobbies.
After getting home from school, he does take a quick break to wind down. But then he turns on the computer and meets friends in the virtual world.
Hello? Can you talk? I could get in touch with all these people here. If I write something, maybe 20,000 people could see it.
That's a lot of exposure, especially for a child. Many of those contacts are anonymous. 77% of users across the gaming world say they've experienced hate in gaming environments.
I know there's that kind of stuff out there and where, but I've never seen it directly in games like Minecraft or Fortnite.
Other people in the gaming scene, however, have a different impression.
You see it everywhere, unless you have the voice chat off. But still you might see a strange symbol hidden in a username.
As a girl, you get insulted in the lobby. Open sexism.
In GTA, you'll see names like 88.
A lot of people just want to be provocative.
Let's say you assume the name Verbrenne den Saft. In German, that means burn the juice, but doesn't sound like a similar phrase. But when you think about the English, it does.
Burn the Jews is something you might not find in a game itself, but you will on associated forums, home to groups glorifying the Nazis with usernames referencing the infamous SS military division. 88 is the numerical code for the initials HH, the Nazi greeting Heil Hitler. 14 stands for a 14-word slogan endorsing racist white supremacy ideas. Some users create Nazi-era and other military insignia using keyboard characters and modify popular games to add the Nazi swastika symbol to, in this case, Spider-Man. Some extremist content even pops up in games designed for children. On the Roblox platform, users were able to relive the 2019 attack on a synagogue in the German city of Halle as a first-person shooter. The game has since been deleted. The Columbine High School massacre in 1999, in which 14 people were murdered, has been recreated in Garry's Mod, an open-world sandbox game. How is it possible for such offensive, dehumanizing content to become normalized with barely anyone noticing? A question that media analyst Matthias Haider has also been investigating.
You have far-right groups using social interactions to spread their ideology and approach and radicalize young people and to get connected through networking.
Haider has 30 years' experience of playing video games. His absolute favorite is the Gothic series.
It's what got me into gaming. I love this world.
The researcher gives regular talks on right-wing radicalization, as seen here at the TinCon conference in Berlin. While he stresses that games are great, he warns his audiences to be wary of the communication channels in their immediate environment. Millions of users also go online to chat about game-related topics. The Reddit social media platform hosts dozens of forums, covering everything from jokes to technical details. On Discord, almost every game has its own dedicated space or server for the relevant community. Steam users can download games and talk about them in online groups. These gaming-adjacent platforms, as they're called, are generally harmless. But it's exactly here where far-right content does also show up, in the form of game modifications, for example. Users reprogram their favorite games and then share the customized version with others. Sociologist Mareike Sturenburg has studied the phenomenon of modding.
I found that there are quite a lot of these modifications that either remove diversity from games or add openly far-right symbols.
And she's an avid gamer herself.
My number one is Disco Elysium, one of the smartest games to have come out in recent years. There's a lot of humour in modding. A classic example from Skyrim is all the dragons being replaced by Thomas the Tank Engine. Or in Oblivion, you can order pizza that's actually delivered to your door via an NPC.
Pizza, an order of garlic bread and some iced tea coming right up.
What has changed a bit is the increase in right-wing activist modding.
On the ModDB website, users can download over 500 far-right modifications, from Ku Klux Klan members for Gary's mod game to figures in SS uniforms for Fallout 4. Freely accessible, free of charge, and difficult to delete, the modified versions are hosted on decentralized servers that are funded by anonymous cryptocurrency donors.
Then there's a modification called Jews Slayer, where they built a special set of armor, including a swastika.
Hitler appearing in the Civilization strategy game, Lara Croft with swastika armbands, and a street in Fallout now adorned with Nazi flags. But is such content always the product of far-right ideology? Or sometimes more a case of teenagers eager to be provocative and to play with forbidden imagery and ideas?
I would partly agree with the view that this is often about kids trying to be funny and to push boundaries.
Germany's Domestic Intelligence Agency comes to a different assessment.
This is not about a bit of fun. It's hardcore right-wing extremism. In some cases, anti-Semitic, glorifying violence and trivializing the Nazi era.
Isabella Kalbitzer is the agency's media spokeswoman. Does she have a favorite game?
No. I'm from a generation that grew up in the 1970s with that tennis game.
Her agency closely monitors far-right extremist activity online. Does that include the gaming world?
We certainly do deal with that subject. But it's important to be careful and differentiate, and not lump the entire gaming scene together.
No one becomes a right-wing extremist just from a single viewing of a swastika or some other banned symbol. The real issue is the normalization of hate, people repeatedly encountering these symbols until they're no longer bothered by them, and the symbols feel normal.
And if that leads to young people no longer comprehending the ideology or the threat it poses, then it becomes genuinely dangerous.
One gamer actively campaigning against that normalization of hatred in Germany is a professional streamer with the handle Stay.
I slipped and hurt myself and got poisoned.
He's been streaming daily for over 10 years. We arranged an interview with him in his studio.
So am I allowed to curse or what?
Sure.
Stay's favorite game is Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. A multiplayer first-person shooter game launched in 2003 in which users fight against Nazis.
So many great memories. Never been bettered. It's a problem in society, and a problem in society will be reflected in gaming worlds too.
An average of 5,000 people watch Stay play online, and not just in his studio.
Now through the tall grass.
He's even filled major concert halls when performing live commentary. Here at Hamburg's famous Elbphilharmonie, an orchestra provided the soundtrack for the game in question.
Tasty, but time to move on.
Streamers are now celebrities. Like pop stars, they have millions of fans, who in this case watch them live while they play games and comment on them.
Is this a horror game for 6-year-olds?
A hammerhead shark.
Here at the Gamescom Expo, fans queue up for hours to secure an autograph from their favorite streamers.
You'll get massive content creators taking a stance on something, and they often say really bad things.
Dann sagen die ganz schlechte Sachen.
There have been repeated headlines about streamers making homophobic, racist, or misogynistic comments. But how high are the chances of successfully taking them to court? Our next stop is Dresden, where the regional law enforcement agency has a unit dedicated to combating online crime, which includes online hate speech and related content. The officer we talked to, who wished to remain anonymous for security reasons, launches an investigation as soon as he receives a tip-off.
Might this be a comment you could just call very conservative? Or is it a far-right incitement or propaganda? That's what I have to decide in my job.
The officer is also a gamer. He currently likes playing Baldur's Gate 3.
A fantastic role-playing game with a complex story and awesome design. This myth of online anonymity no longer holds as true as it did many years ago. The perpetrators tend to leave a trail.
In specific instances, such as an upcoming anti-gay pride demonstration, the investigators will conduct advanced monitoring online, although this is more the exception.
I've received a tip-off about potentially criminal content being posted here.
The Discord gaming channel he's monitoring also includes a politics group.
A lot of the content on this forum is about the AfD party or related memes, but asylum policy is also mentioned.
euch jemand erzählt, die AfD hätte grundsätzlich etwas gegen Migration, dann ist das eine komplett dreiste Lüge. Die AfD hat nämlich nichts gegen qualifizierte, kontrollierte Migration, so wie das deutsche System es seit Jahrzehnten vorgesehen hat.
Das ist, was wir zunehmend.
Increasingly, we're seeing these topics being linked up by people transferring them to other platforms. That's one of the strategies being used by the far right.
Deren sich Rechte auch bedienen, Rechtsextreme.
And the online crime unit officers also scrutinize comments on TikTok, such as,
"More men like that and I'd have no qualms about leaving my daughters alone at the playground."
Wenn jetzt ein Nutzer auffällt
If we
mit einem
notice a user
Kommentar,
posting potentially criminal content that constitutes a threat, we can call up their profile and see what any clues in their picture reveal.
über jemanden.
In order not to compromise our investigations, I won't go into detail about our next step.
but are there any meaningful consequences? Where the sheer volume of offensive comments and symbols is overwhelming? On Steam, it doesn't take long to come across swastikas or other far-right content.
For me, the internet still feels completely lawless. What about someone denying the Holocaust on a Steam forum while using a pseudonym via a VPN? Pressing charges? No chance. Simply not possible.
Unmöglich auch.
Platforms like Steam do try to deal with this kind of content and modifications. These platforms are moderated.
Steam is subject to the moderation rules of the EU's Digital Services Act, although an estimated 30 to 35 million monthly users in Europe put it below the threshold for the strictest level of oversight. The Act requires larger platforms to combat illegal content, albeit to seemingly little effect. Steam declined to give us an interview.
These platforms make money from users being present, so they have a responsibility to ensure they're safe spaces for everyone.
In Germany, the police regularly carry out coordinated nationwide crackdowns on online hate speech, in 2025 comprising 180 raids and mass arrests. The vast majority involved far-right online comments, and the number of reported incidents is growing. In 2024 alone, the police registered over 10,000 complaints, two-thirds of them concerning far-right posters.
The sad fact is that this phenomenon has been around ever since digital forums existed.
It really got into gear with games like Custer's Revenge, where you were a U.S. general tasked with raping Native American women in crude, low-res graphics. There was a shoddy management simulation game in the 1980s where users played the boss of an extermination camp.
In 2020, the far-right identitarian movement tried to put this platform game on the market, featuring the nationalist AfD party's Björn Höcke among the characters. Classed by the authorities as extremist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic, it was essentially banned. Unlike this smartphone game created by AfD-aligned individuals, it portrayed Germany as descending into chaos and crime, using a series of insightful and offensive slogans to blame young Arab men, while also mocking progressives and the LGBTQ community. It also deployed gaming language to urge players to help bring about the solution by expatriating foreigners en masse.
They're games made by extremists for extremists, and most gamers want nothing to do with them.
But there's the risk of insightful content becoming normalized, and experts say that dubious game modifications are particularly dangerous, the kind that link to popular games in order to reach a wide audience. Shockingly, users have been able to reenact far-right terrorist attacks, such as those in Columbine or Christchurch, within an established game scenario. This game is set on the island of Utøya in Norway, where Anders Breivik murdered 69 people in 2011, most of them teenagers.
Columbine again, then a concentration camp for Gary's mod, then a reenactment of George Floyd's death, and the Unabomber cabin, where Ted Kaczynski holed up and built bombs. It's above all these mods that glorify violence and terror that tell us that idolizing perpetrators and making them famous can lead to copycat attacks.
The attack on a synagogue in the German city of Halle in 2019 was one such copycat attack, inspired by the Christchurch massacre 7 months earlier, that the perpetrator streamed live. Which his counterpart in Halle also did via a helmet-mounted camera on Twitch, with people tuning in as if it were just another first-person shooter game. He also posted an achievement list familiar from video games, except in this case, the mission included tasks such as kill a Jew or burn down a synagogue. Like rankings in online shooter games, high-score lists circulate online, comparing the death tolls of mass murder attacks around the world. So, does Germany's domestic intelligence agency see Halle as an isolated case? And what about the gaming factor?
If you look at the more recent attacks in Halle and Hanau, and the Munich shopping mall, you can see the subsequent gamification. But what's harder for us to see is perpetrators in the gaming world being radicalized there before committing crimes.
Das können wir so konkret nicht feststellen.
What is clear, however, is the decreasing age of far-right radicals, and it's young people who primarily play these online games.
And of course, these young right-wing extremists, mostly men, will inevitably also be active in the digital world and are probably themselves gamers, although that's only one aspect.
So while there might not be a direct link between gaming and violent far-right extremism, there is an indirect connection.
The gaming world has always seen narratives similar to those found among the far right and the new right.
Gaming ist einfach nicht mehr das, was es mal war. Einmal das falsche Wort im Voice-Chat gedroppt und du wirst gesperrt. Gaming ohne Zensur?
Ja.
This video, posted by a now-banned youth wing of the AfD, was aimed at young men in the former East Germany, exploiting nostalgia for a moped once built there.
Simson statt Lastenrad?
Ja!
Issues like LGBTQ and diversity in games are often framed as threats to both the industry and gaming as a hobby.
Veronika Kracher has written extensively about anti-feminism, incels, and online radicalization, and is very familiar with far-right hate campaigns.
The games and the community aren't inherently right-wing, but there is a lack of critical distancing from group-backed hate and hostility.
The writer is another big fan of Disco Elysium.
For me, it's not so much a video game as a philosophical masterpiece. I like to differentiate between people who just play games, which I sometimes do myself up to 8 hours a day, and what I call gamer TMs. They're people, primarily men, where gaming becomes part of their identity, and they feel this entitlement where they expect every game to align with their personal preferences.
A sense of entitlement that then clashes with reality. Today's games have become more inclusive and diverse, aimed at all demographics and age groups.
This here is the woke content detector curated list of games, where these galaxy brain types talk about which gamers are woke. So, tools of the left-wing culture war against proper, genuine gamer TM games. They say these woke games politicize innocent hobby gaming. One example is Overcooked. One of the characters you can choose from is a raccoon in a wheelchair. And this representation of a physical disability is labeled as woke, or DEI. DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, is one of the coded labels they use.
It's really annoying when video game gets interrupted by some DEI woke bullshit. And I'm like, Jesus, I was playing a video game here. Can you just leave the video games alone?
The gaming scene in the US is regularly targeted by right-wing outrage campaigns, which the alt-right movement also uses to recruit young people. When the fourth installment of fantasy game The Witcher was released, a debate erupted over why the new hero was a woman.
The ocean's filled with new ships.
Assassin's Creed Shadows got a furious reception in online forums due to the Japanese samurai warrior Yasuke being black. Here too, modifications are the far right's most potent weapon.
For Assassin's Creed Shadows, there's a modification that lightens the skin of Yasuke to make him pass as white. It's part of a trend where forms of diverse representation are removed, which might involve removing all black figures from a game, or same-sex relationships. It's often framed as cleansing a game of political content, as returning it to some magical, original version and making it apolitical.
What is wrong with those people who feel attacked when queer or non-white characters pop up in their game? Do they feel deprived of something?
And the ideal place to answer that is Gamescom, the world's largest computer and video games event. What bothers so many gamers about diversity? Do they feel they've been pushed out of games?
I think things becoming more inclusive is actually a positive development.
I have nothing against anybody. I just don't want this stuff being forced on me in every game, in every TV show, and in everything I do.
You've been playing with the same character for years and suddenly the gender's changed, which is irritating.
It's a good thing, but not when it's just for commercial purposes. It should feel natural and suit the character.
We now have to add women, but it feels totally forced. The game itself takes a back seat, and if you just want to play the game, then tough luck.
Most gamers are not fundamentally against diversity. What they fear is commercial factors making identity-related issues more important than gameplay or story, and that their favorite games are becoming a battleground in the so-called culture war. It's time for wider society to acknowledge games as a cultural space, something the far right has understood for some time.
The people who write that idiotic rubbish are not the majority, they're a vocal minority.
Games can be a form of art, and art can contribute to a humanistic and egalitarian view of humanity.
It's vital that gaming be taken seriously as a cultural medium.